All right, welcome back to another installment of the 94 podcast. I'm Brook Edel, joined here with my co-host. We got a full house, both in studio and in virtual. Definitely want to thank Chauncy here for being right next to me here in studio at the CCX studios here in Brooklyn Park. But live in Green Bay, Jim, we're joined here by a brand new guest of the 94 podcast. Can you please introduce yourself, Joey?
Yeah, my name's Joey Dubois. I'm a sports anchor and reporter for a TV station here in Green Bay, working with Jim. So happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd love to have you, and here to talk about some huge topics. We got college football, we got NFL, we got some NBA, and we'll mix in a couple things, even some NASCAR. Michael Jordan in a lawsuit with NASCAR. So we're coming at you really fast here in the 94 podcast. We're in the fast lane. We'll keep it going here. Jim, quick question though for you. You got Georgia, Alabama. Who are you rooting for tonight?
Georgia, 100%.
Georgia, 100%. Amen, brother. Welcome to the Georgia side here. And then we got Tulane and Lane Kiffin. So Tulane's coach made a joke about saying that, hey, Tulane, I think it was John Summerall, he said Lane and I both agreed I was the right man for Florida. So there's been a lot of topics, and I just love it. Like, just think about this. 10 years ago, if I would have told you Lane Kiffin was going to be at LSU, Vanderbilt was going to have a Heisman quarterback, and they were going to be in the top 10, you would have probably thought that I would need to get drug tested. Same thing as James Franklin being at Virginia Tech. That's wild. Also a 12-team college football playoff. No one would have thought that was a thing 10 years ago. And then also Ohio State just beat Michigan for the first time in 5 years. And also realizing that the Pac-12 only has 2 teams. Like, I know that's a lot being thrown at you. And then also the cherry on top, Nick Saban on College Game Day. Yeah. We're not happy, we're not upset about that because we still get to hear Nick Saban and, everything that he brings to the game. But I know for sure Georgia's happy that he's not on the sideline coaching them in the SEC championship tonight. Big games in the Big Ten too, 1 versus 2, Indiana versus Ohio State. So Google that. That's the Google that part 2. Will Howard, stomped out the SIG on the sideline, and he was like, Google that with the taunt. So we're going to see some high emotion in the Big Ten championship in Indiana's backyard in Indianapolis. I've been doing a lot of talking, but I just want to get everybody's thoughts. We could start with Chauncy here since you're right next to me. What's your thoughts on the overall landscape of college football?
It's wild. From the structure of it with 12-game playoff, I love that. The margin of difference between 10-11 to 4-5 really ain't that wide, so getting more teams involved, I like that, makes it more competitive. Overall, with the Lane Kiffin story, are we going there yet?
Yeah, we can go there.
I don't know.
We can jump right in.
Where we're going.
Jump into the hot tub, right?
Obviously, super hot issue with Lane Kiffin jumping ship from Ole Miss going to LSU and kind of the quote-unquote shady way he did it. My thought on it, he made the best move for him and his family. Kids can leave, not play in bowl games, do whatever they want, whenever they want, however they want, and nobody looks at them crazy. He's the coach, he's the leader. He made a commitment to the kids, but ultimately you got to do what you have to do. And he got put in a tough spot because with the portal opening and some other deadlines for recruiting, he had to make the move in order to set up LSU and his new team to be in the best situation for recruiting and NIL opportunity. So it wasn't all his fault from the optics of it, but ultimately it's not a great look. But I think he's going to be a great fit. He's a great recruiter. With all the talent that they have and his offensive genius, they're going to be lighting up the scoreboard. I think in 2-3 years, he'll have a natty under his belt.
Yeah, I mean, I could definitely see that. That's definitely something that is just known, that LSU is just going to be a lot easier to recruit. You're just going to have a better recruiting, just whatever you're working with, you're just going to have more talent. And signing day just passed, and just seeing what's happening is a huge part of where these coaches are going. And moving from Oxford to Baton Rouge, you just know that just gets more intensified because the standard is a championship. And so many coaches that have preceded him have won championships. Whether it be Nick Saban, Coach O, Ed Orgeron, and being able to see that Lane Kiffin is able to get this opportunity. It's just going to be an exciting offense to watch. And you got guys that are ready to jump ship right now and join that staff. But what is kind of interesting as well, Joey, I also want to get your take on this. What do you think of Lane Kiffin making that move? And it's in the SEC, so they're going to be playing each other. That's going to be some must-watch TV.
I think next year they go back to Oxford if I heard it right somewhere else. So that'll be must-see TV for sure, like you said. I mean, I think it's just like 10 years ago where the college football landscape was then, a move like this, no one bats an eye. It's like, Ole Miss to LSU. Obviously, you're going to make that jump if that jump's presented to you. What makes it weird is that now we have a 12-team playoff. Ole Miss is in that 12-team playoff. So it's like, in theory, he's leaving before a chance at a national title and all that. But maybe Ole Miss, I don't know. I don't think Ole Miss would win a national title this year, even if Lane was still there. Maybe they stumble their way into one this year. The chance at LSU, you can win one every year at LSU. So to leave Ole Miss for LSU, that shouldn't be a crazy thing to anybody. But I think the way it's all set up now, it comes off like that. But 10 years from now, or however long it is, if he's got 3 or 4 natties under his belt, we're all going to be looking back on this being like, well, duh, why did we ever make such a big deal about it at the time?
Right, absolutely. They definitely need to do a 30 for 30 on Lane Kiffin because he definitely needs to be studied on just
they just did one, right, or something, and now there's a whole nother chapter.
Yeah, there's a whole nother saga coming forward, right, exactly.
Right.
And everybody's just airing out the dirty laundry, the text messages, the DMs. I mean, he's in another era where, maybe if he coached back in the early 2000s or 90s, you're not getting these storylines. But yeah, it's going to continue to be the headline of college football in one of the biggest conferences in the SEC. Jim, your take on Lane Kiffin? I know you're a big college football guy, so what's your take?
I mean, everyone's been hitting it. The nail on the head. Everything I agree with. I can't wait to see him go back to Ole Miss. I can't wait to see him play there. I can't wait to see the reaction of the fans and everything. Just to hear how the reaction, and if he goes back and he beats them, he's going to say something. But for a fact, if he goes back and he loses, there's going to be so much questions. Was it actually a good idea to leave? Hindsight, yes, because you're going to a better program. LSU has a better chance to get to a natty. Ole Miss is Ole Miss, but I mean, it's the storylines write themselves. So it's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to keep an eye on. It's going to be fun to see how everything goes.
Exactly. You got the whole family involved. It's like a mob family. You got Landry Kiffin is dating the LSU star linebacker, and then now he's joining LSU to go coach her boyfriend. So, all right. I mean, it's basically lights, camera, action in the SEC coming up. So it's definitely a Hollywood script. But speaking of Hollywood scripts, some scripts might be flipped on Championship Saturday. And what we're talking about is Indiana versus Ohio State. We're also talking about Georgia, Alabama. We already got some champions to note. We got Boise State winning the Mountain West. James Madison, I don't know if you guys saw the controversy there, where the student section, this is like some new age home field advantage. The student section and just the fans at James Madison, they were throwing snowballs at the Troy punter. So when they were backed up.
On the field?
On the field. They literally had to have their athletic director come on to the PA and say, stop throwing snowballs at the opponent. They're going to throw a flag. And that kind of goes back to the NFL films moment where I believe it was the Cincinnati Bengals head coach is like, you're in Cincinnati, you're not in Cleveland. I don't know if you guys saw the highlights there or any of the social media, but James Madison is fighting to get in the college football playoff, and they just won their conference championship. And a lot of weird things happened too. And Jim, you can definitely appreciate this. A Troy player stole an iPhone and it had a Pokemon card on the back, which was removed, and then the phone was damaged. So like they were taunting these Troy players, and these Troy players had it at that point. They were like, all right, this is possibly their last college game, but just a lot of controversy, and then we expect even more controversy, going into the college football playoff championship weekend. By the end of this week, we're going to have that talk now, going up into the next week on who's going to be selected for that top 12 playoff.
Yeah. If I could chime in super quick on the snowball gate, I love it.
Snowball gate? Okay.
I love it. As a football coach and a football fanatic, home field advantage is real. Now, do I necessarily condone them, pelting the punters with snowballs? Not really, but that level of involvement and commitment and helping the team win, love that. Love that. I would always rather be a player or a fan or whoever, have to calm you down a little bit versus trying to hype you up. I'm totally cool with it. Push that limit, go crazy, support the team.
Right, support the team. It's the ultimate fandom. You're literally you're making an impact because he shanked that punt. Like the punt didn't go any further than the 35-yard line. They were punting from the end zone. So
love it.
Yeah, James Madison, the Rubes are taking over.
Aren't they supposed to shovel the snow out of the stands so fans can't do stuff like that? Like, did they leave a little pile right near the student section just in case they got any ideas?
They had a reserve pile.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Brilliant move.
Go ahead.
No, it's just a good move by them. If you see some snow laying around, don't let it go to waste.
Absolutely.
Kids will be kids.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Next stop here. What do we expect out of this Ohio State Indiana game? Because 1 versus 2, we'd be remiss not to talk about this a little bit. We got Mendoza, who's up for the Heisman. You also got Julian Sayin leading the undefeated Ohio State. They won the game for the first time in 5 years. A lot of Michigan fans will remind you of that. But it was 2,191 days since the last time Ohio State beat the team up north, Michigan. Yeah. So what do we expect out of this game? Indiana and Ohio State, 7 p.m. tonight.
I think Indiana, I have to give kudos to their coach doing an amazing job coaching this year.
Yep.
And in these types of games is typically where the talent difference shows up. With roster to roster, Ohio State, it's not even close. So I'm thinking the Jimmies and Joes are going to be bigger than the X's and O's, and Ohio State comes out with a W.
Okay. You got a score?
I would say something like 24-34, something like that.
Okay. That's a decent game.
31-21.
It's competitive. Joey?
Yeah, Chauncy, when you were talking earlier about how, I think it was the gap between maybe the 4th and 5th best team in the country and the 11th and 12th, how close that is. Totally agree. I do think though between 1 and 2, like you were saying, I think that gap is pretty freaking big, and I think we might see it out there tonight. I mean, in credit to Indiana, because last year the schedule broke their way, I think, in a lot of ways, and it worked out for them. Good for them to become relevant for the first time in a long time and all that. This year it's different. They're beating good teams. The win at Oregon, obviously. So they're certainly not the fake team that maybe it seemed like they were last year at times. They're legit. They've earned that right to be the number 2 team in the country. But that Ohio State team is just so good that 34-24, something in that ballpark, I'd say. I'll ride with you there on that pick for sure.
You got a score?
Something in that ballpark. I don't know. Can I go? Let's go 38-21. I'll say it's a little more one-sided.
Okay. All right. Jim, I'll let you go with the pick here, and then I'll do my pick and prediction.
I mean, the gap between 1 and 2 is you can see it there, but sometimes, and I like being different, Joey, so just understand this.
Do it.
Sometimes X's and O's can beat Jimmy and Joe's if it's played.
Jimmy, they're gonna beat you.
If it's listen, if you can strategize and you can play perfectly, and you can make sure that you limit your mistakes, and you can capitalize on their mistakes, strategy can win. So I'm going to go Indiana. It's going to be 21-20 Indiana.
Ooh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be an instant classic for sure. Looking at this, Ohio State 4-point favorite, but I think this is going to be a fun classic game. Big Ten, I think it's going to be a bruising game. I'm going Ohio State in a tough grinded out game, 17-14. I think the defenses are definitely going to be hitting hard in this game, and realizing what's at stake on being able to get that number 1 seed and just get an easier path to the Natty. But I know Ohio State, they planned for this. I'm going Ohio State and Ryan Day to take care of business in Indianapolis. But I think this is going to be a classic. I think it's going to come down just to Bo Jackson. I think Bo Jackson is going to be the game changer here for Ohio State and what they're able to do. Obviously, you got Jeremiah Smith on the outside, and he can be a game breaker, but I think that running game, I think, is going to be the keys to victory for Ohio State in this game. All right. Let's move forward. After we just took a look at the Big Ten, we obviously got to look at the SEC here. Alabama, Georgia, it's going to be at the Benz, and Alabama has never lost to Georgia in the SEC championship. It's kind of crazy to think that Alabama has lost to Georgia in the national championship, but they've never lost to them in the SEC championship. How does that work? How does that work? With all those talented teams that Kirby Smart has had over the years. Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard to beat a team 3 times in the season. So if they played during the schedule, sometimes they do. Then you beat them in the championship game. Then you got to beat them again in the national championship. To beat somebody 3 times, 2 out of 3 even, is difficult, especially with how close those matchups are. In this game, I just think Georgia got too many dogs.
Oh, okay.
And the coaching experience, with Coach Smart and his staff being there, done that multiple times. This is not something that's going to be new for them. Coach DeBoer, biggest stage he's been on. His team has been up and down with the performance the last couple of years. I just think that Georgia's a well-oiled machine. Been there, done that. Georgia, if I had to put a score out there, again, it'd be like a 38-21, something in that ballpark.
Okay. Maybe a defensive special team score.
Possibly, but
Okay.
that roster for Georgia is just so stacked. And then coaching experience.
Absolutely.
It's weird how much Bama's had Georgia's number, though. I just double-checked it. It's 11 out of the last 12 that Bama's won. So, and Kirby, obviously, a former Alabama guy. I don't buy into like the mind games. Is it mental that he can't beat Bama or something? Because like you said, I mean, he's come through in some of the biggest games against Bama. So there's that. So I don't know. I'm with you though. I think Georgia, Bama can't run the ball at all really right now. So Georgia, I'll go Georgia. Lower scoring though. I'll say like 21-17. Georgia wins it, something like that.
Okay. Jimmy.
Yeah, no, it's hard to beat a team three times in this season. It's tough to go through everything and keep the momentum. I'm a big momentum guy, but I kind of just want to see chaos. I want to see, because if Georgia wins and Alabama doesn't, they're now 1-1 this year.
Yeah, they'll be tied. Yep. 1-1.
So what happens with the seedings? Because you can't. Who gets knocked out of the playoffs now? Because I know Georgia's 4, Bama's 9. Do they drop out? Do they not make Does Alabama not make playoffs now?
Dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Because then teams are going to start saying, "Well, I don't want to play in a conference title game." Unless, if Georgia beats the brakes off of Bama, maybe that's a different thing. But if it's a close game, I think Bama has to stay in. Otherwise, why would they want to play in a game?
Very true.
Yeah, so, I don't have to worry about it because I'm not the committee. So I want to see chaos. I'm going to go Georgia. I'm going to go 24-17.
Okay. I think it's going to be a clean sweep. I got Georgia winning this game, too. I got to see the eye test with...
Wait, clean sweep? Don't you mean Bama?
No, we all picked Georgia.
We all picked Georgia. It's going to be a clean sweep. We're all you picked Georgia.
Yep.
Joey picked Georgia. You picked Georgia.
If Bama beat them twice.
Yeah, there's no Bama. There's no Bama picks here. Well, the eye test, I got to see Georgia against Georgia Tech. They took care of their rival, but then in the rivalry game, when you know that that team's going to get up for you against Auburn, that was just too shaky of a performance for me to go up against Georgia. I think Kirby Smart has some good game film on them, and then seeing what Ty Simpson likes to do and forcing Ty Simpson to beat you. Again, they're not able to move the ball. So I think that's going to be a big thing where I think Georgia's going to tee up on that, and there's going to be a lot of physicality in this game. I got Georgia winning this one 30-17. 30-17. Okay, so that will move us to this is the chaos central here is the ACC championship game. We got Duke versus Virginia, and I was just talking to Joey before we got on air. This is more of a college basketball matchup than a college football matchup. So we got the Duke Blue Devils versus the Virginia Cavaliers for the ACC championship, and you got an at-large ACC team in Miami who's going to be on pins and needles watching this game. Mm-hmm. So this is chaos right here. So I'll let you open up.
I'm feeling Duke. I'd say something like 24-17. I feel like they got a little bit more than what Virginia is bringing to the table, and I think they'll be ready to go.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll go for Duke for the sake of chaos, because if Duke wins it, then that's probably where James Madison finds their way in.
James Madison Dukes.
Right, there you go. It all comes back together. So, yeah, to have
everything.
2 group of 5 teams in, you're going to have to be taking a long, hard look at this system and wondering if this college football playoff is set up the way you want it to be if you have 2 group of 5 teams sneaking in, particularly if I can't remember who's 5 right now. I mean, I guess Texas Tech would, or no, Texas 4. So whoever's 5, if they're playing James Madison in the first round of the college football playoff and they win that game by 50 points, it's like, goodness gracious, what are we doing letting 2 group of 5 teams in? So for that sake, I'll pull for Duke. But if Virginia wins their in, it's pretty cut and dry there as that higher ranked conference champ. That's not exciting. Nobody wants to see that. We want to see the most chaos possible. So let's go Duke.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta agree with you, Joey. I'm gonna go Duke too, but I'm gonna go a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be 10-7 Duke. I'm gonna go low-scoring. I think defense is gonna show up. They're all gonna wake up and be like, the defensive game today. It's gonna be a last-second field goal. 10-7.
10-7.
All the defensive, the old school throwback football fans love that pick, Jim. 10-7 through 60 minutes of football. Wow. Okay.
Especially in college.
Too.
Where they typically don't play no defense. Goodness gracious.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely want to see just a lot of craziness in this game. I'm sure Virginia is going to be in a trap game mode because Duke's coming in this 7-5 Virginia, but I think Virginia upsets the chaos here and they win. I feel on a last second touchdown. I think it's going to be a wire to wire game, 28-27. I got them with the extra point for the game winner. So I'm going Virginia. But yeah, it's a pick'em game really. You just don't know. It's going to be in Duke's backyard. I think it's in Carolina. I think they're playing it. Yeah, I think they're playing at Bank of America Field where the Panthers play.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, all the pressure's on Virginia too, right? Duke, even if they win, right? What are the odds they actually get in? They can just screw everything up for everyone else. Whereas Virginia, it's man, if you blow this and as long as you win, you're in. There's no drama there. But Duke can come in and blow the whole thing up. So I got to imagine there's more pressure on Virginia than Duke, where Duke's just screw it. Let's go win one. Who cares?
And that's,
go ahead.
That's kind of what I was referring to when they have a little bit of an edge where they're playing with house money. It's just let's go. We're not supposed to be here. We're supposed to get hammered. Let's just go out here and throw the kitchen sink at them and put the pressure on them to actually beat us. So that's kind of what I'm looking at and thinking could be an edge for them.
Absolutely, just playing with house money. It's going to be less pressure, obviously, on Duke. They just know that they could just set the whole world on fire with this win.
Yep.
All right, that gets us into, I believe is Tulane. I think Tulane's another at large that's going to be a guaranteed to make it in. But their head coach is just accepted a position with Florida, and then moving forward, we got some huge things in regards to college football. What's your thoughts though, like in regards to do you expect the 12-team playoff? Because I know that Diego, I believe it was Diego Pavia with Vanderbilt was lobbying for the 12-team playoff to get bigger. Do you guys ever see that going past 12, or do you think 12 is the perfect number, or do we need to see a 16-team bracket?
I'd be okay with 16 because right now the excitement that we have is 4 regular guys that don't have any power to change anything. We don't have any really dogs in the fight per se. It's exciting, number one. This is, at the end of the day, it's about entertainment value. It's about drawing more viewers. It's about the drama and the storyline. So expanding it another 4 teams would only make it more interesting. And then also, again, in a kind of a college basketball flavor, you never know. That 13th team could get hot and be playing at the right time and have favorable matchups to where all of a sudden they make it deep in the playoffs. So I like it. I'm for it. I don't see really a reason why not to do it, in my opinion.
I'd say as a fan, yeah. I mean, of course, yeah, we should always be in the interest of more games, right? More stuff for us to watch and talk about. That's awesome. But, like, if we're talking about fairness, or however many teams you add, there's always going to be that argument for this team should be in over this team. Like it happened with the BCS. It was, oh, no, there should be this team. The team that's third actually should be second. And when you had a 14 playoff, it's who should be fourth. And now we're arguing about who should be 12th. Like, wherever it is. And at a certain point, I mean, you're arguing about teams with like 4 losses, right? And maybe 2 of those losses are terrible. It's like, what are we doing when we're arguing about teams like that? Like this year, a good example is just like the Texas case, right? Like, sorry, Texas, you lost to Florida. Like that's kind of right. That's all there is to that. And the more teams we add, the more arguments you have like that of just these teams. That's like, do you really belong to be in a playoff if you lose to a team like Florida? Like you kind of blew your shot there.
Yeah.
For sure. No, well said there, Joey.
And the parallel that I would make super quickly is that it's kind of like an NFL with wild card teams, like barely, 8-8 teams, sometimes even 7-9 or whatever. You squeak in, and we've seen it where they make it deep, and sometimes even we've had a few over the years wild card teams that end up winning the Super Bowl. So there's drama and interesting pieces to it, and it's possible. For those teams.
And what's great about the NFL and like every other playoff system in sports other than the college football playoff though is there's like set parameters as to how you get in, right? Whereas the college football playoff, it's just this beauty contest that we're then stacking up resumes. And then even this year, like Bushy, sorry, I know you're a Notre Dame guy, but it's like Miami beat Notre Dame and Miami's
right.
There's a good chance Miami's left at home over Notre Dame. Like why do we play the games if then we're just stacking up these resumes? So
right, exactly.
Already at 12 teams, you have funky examples like that. The more you expand it, the more we're going to be comparing these 2 teams. That's like, how do we even compare these 2 teams? Like, what are we even doing? So,
no,
sure. But I'll take more games, and I'll watch every game you put on. So that's the flip side to that.
Okay.
I'm not in the interest of reducing games, but if we're trying to be fair, I don't know. It gets weird.
Yeah, exactly. Like that Notre Dame Miami conversation, that could get awkward because it's just like, all right, Miami beat them on the field, but we're going to have Miami sit and watch the college football playoff. That doesn't sit right with me because it feels like, why even play the games if we're just going to automatically choose one university over the other just because it's a popularity contest, or it's like, hey, we're just going to have more revenue coming in because of this school. And I know, Jim, you're an Irish guy through and through, so I'm not targeting them. It's just like, it's kind of a sweet deal. You lose 2 games to top 5 teams, and then you play an independent schedule, and you're right back in it. You're right back into the college football playoff. I mean, I know you all made it to the final last year. Hopefully, you guys are trying to get back into the playoffs. But again, we'll see where the chips fall. But again, I would definitely be in the camp of Miami should make it over Notre Dame.
I mean, fair. I mean, I want to see the best
beat
team
Miami.
in it. I don't want to see team over popularity in it.
Yeah, they should be.
So I mean, yeah, it would suck that Notre Dame doesn't make it, but I mean, I want the best of the best in, and I think 16 would be good. Team should be over this. I mean, that's the best part about college football. I think, but they need something to give them not like a beautiful contest. And I don't care because the best teams are Miami. I don't want Miami because I want them in. Just not because of popularity. I want them to be the best, better team. And I think the Wings do a better job of seeing that. And I think Miami and Notre Dame trying to get in.
Absolutely. I know we went heavy with college football, but rightfully so. It's championship Saturday. We'll shift gears just like Andrew Luck shifted gears and became the Stanford GM. We're going to take a look at the NFL here real quick. We got some huge games. We got Commanders versus Vikings. Jaden Daniels returning to go up against J.J. McCarthy. That'll be a showdown of the same draft class. And obviously, Jaden Daniels by far is the leader in the clubhouse right now in regards to that class. Making to an NFC Championship game, a game away from the Super Bowl in his rookie season. Commanders still in the hunt for a playoff spot. Vikings, believe it or not mathematically eliminated, even though last week felt like they were eliminated twice in one season. First time getting shut out since 2007 against the Green Bay Packers. What can we expect to see versus the Commanders and Vikings, and realizing that, you know, Marcus Mariota might be in purple next year?
Well, a couple things. When JJ got drafted and leading up to the draft, we had a couple of shows, one before the draft and there's after the draft. My good friend Brooke and I, we had it out about JJ McCarthy being overrated, overhyped. And I'm ready for you to apologize to me, sir. I'm waiting.
Still, he's under, this is his sixth start?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not even close.
He's not where he needs to be. I will agree with that.
He's miles from where he needs to be. He's out in the middle of the wilderness looking for a sign from God to lead him back to civilization. That's where he's at right now.
Yeah, he definitely needs a come to Jesus moment and return, because like what has happened so far is just not good enough. It's not good enough to be an NFL quarterback, but we got to realize it's still his rookie season. And I know that the NFL stands for not for long, and he's not going to get that patience from a majority of the fan base, and realizing that the NFL media definitely wants to push that Sam Darnold should still be in Minnesota. And that was a huge game last week going up against Sam Darnold, now with the Seattle Seahawks in the MVP conversation, leading them now to their 9th win, and I think they're first in their division now, because I think the Rams lost last week.
I think they beat the Rams head-to-head or something.
No, I think they lost to
I
the
should
Rams.
know. I'm an NFC West guy. I'll look it up.
Okay. But yeah, the point that I'm trying to make here is J.J. McCarthy, we need to give him the rest of the season to figure this out. So he's got 5 games, and you hope that he can figure this out with a Hall of Fame talent in Justin Jefferson on roster. You would hope that, you know, he can at least get some kind of chemistry going. And again, not focusing on being perfect on every throw, because I think that was maybe an issue of just poor coaching, of just trying to overcoach him. And then when he got hurt against Atlanta, they were like, oh, let's wait until he's 100%. But we know this in the NFL, guys are not playing 100% week to week. I know your quarterback, Brock Purdy, with the 49ers, he just got back, but you know that he's not 100% when he even came back. But realizing that, like, you have to step up. If you're going to be the quarterback in the first round, you're going to be 10th overall, and the franchise is putting all of the trust into you. I think J.J. McCarthy realizes that they were like, hey, we're going to hand you the keys. We're going to let Sam Darnold walk in the offseason. You got to be available. That's one thing that the rest of the way, if he misses time, I think that hurts his chances to be in Minnesota long term, because not only is he putting his own career in jeopardy, but I believe he's putting the front office's long-term career with the Vikings in jeopardy as well. So this is going to be must-watch for the next 5 games, for the reason of, can J.J. McCarthy progress? Because we bottomed out. I think the game against Green Bay was in Lambeau. It was in, you guys got to see that game, and it was terrible. Like, you couldn't run the ball. Or you did run the ball, then you stopped running the ball, and then you couldn't pass the ball. Like, something huge needs to happen. And he's going up against the Washington Commanders, where they're giving up, 8.2 yards per reception or completion. So if he can't get it going against the Commanders, I think we even have bigger problems than what we're expecting right now. Because it's still early, but we got to see some type of progression. We can't be continuing to see the same mistakes week in and week out.
My issue with the McCarthy situation is that the roster and the coaching staff that the Vikings have, that's always been my issue. It's not about JJ individually. It's about the circumstances that they put him in and the decisions they made. They have a stacked roster, and every spot but quarterback, top 5, top 10 in the league. Defense, pass rushers like crazy, good young secondary, great defensive coordinator who should be a head coach. He's probably not going to be here again after the season. You got KOC calling the plays. You got 2 good running backs. You got a good offensive line. You got potentially Hall of Fame left tackle. You got a Hall of Fame wide receiver, number 1. You got really good options 2 and 3. You got a perennial Pro Bowl tight end. Like, everything was ready, set, and made for the Vikings to make a run again this year. So that's why I had a huge issue with them not necessarily drafting him, but inserting him as a starter. They should have kept Darnold and even paid him the contract and everything to maximize this window that they have with this staff, with this roster, and try to take it as far as they can toward the Super Bowl. Look at my 49ers. We had that window of 3 or 4 years where we had everything. We had a stacked roster. We had a quarterback on a rookie contract. We had the coaching staff on both sides. A couple of them years we had Saleh, and then we got DeMeco Ryans on defense. And it's like we went all in. We got Christian McCaffrey to bolster the roster. We did all these things to keep stacking, and then we end up kind of bottoming out the last year and a half. But that was in the effort of trying to cash in. Now, look at the Rams. They went in with the whole F them picks mentality. They went and got Jalen Ramsey. They went and got all these guys to stack the roster.
Odell Beckham Jr.
Yep. And it paid off. They had with Cooper Kupp. Boom, they got the Super Bowl. Okay, we're going to be bad for a couple of years. We got to fix our salary cap situation. You had to let go of some guys, whatever. Now they got Devontae over there, and they're making another run. Same mentality with stacking the roster. So that's my thing and my issue. Now let everybody else chime in. That's my biggest issue, is that I think they closed their own window for a Super Bowl opportunity by making him the starter. If he's on the team and he's learning and growing in the background behind Darnold or behind an Aaron Rodgers or someone that can make sure the offense is performing at a level that we can do anything, I think they closed their own window, and that's frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I think it comes back to Kevin O'Connell. Joey, I also want to get your.
I'm really excited to hear them.
Yeah, I want to hear, because you've heard us go back and forth here, but I think it also comes back to KOC play calling, because he was in charge of the offense and you scored 0 points even without having JJ McCarthy out in the last game. But Joey, I'll digress and let you chime in.
I'm just thinking about with JJ how, like, on the one hand, you could think it's the perfect spot for a young quarterback to go into with Justin Jefferson, with Kevin O'Connell, and how, you've seen some of these quarterbacks. Like, I can't help but think of Cam Ward in Tennessee right now and how he's struggling. But the difference is you saw a quarterback in Darnold succeed to such a high level in Minnesota, so you know it's possible with that supporting cast. Whereas Tennessee, it's like, no one has any expectations for them. So you're holding McCarthy to this standard, a borderline MVP season from Darnold last year until the end of the season, of course, and expecting him to live up to that in some ways. And it's like it's a high standard to hold a guy to. But I get it when you have a roster that's as stacked as they are, and you spend a first-round pick on a guy and you compare it to even other guys in the same class. Like I know we talked before the show about Drake May a little bit, what Drake May's doing, and he's at the same point in his career as JJ. So the excuses start to run out a little bit, but I hear you. It's still early. And what's the joke that if JJ was a first-round pick that had gotten cut, that's when Kevin O'Connell should bring him in, because then he'd be able to revive him, right? Like, so is there a chance JJ flames out in Minnesota, goes somewhere else, and turns out to have a nice little career? Definitely, but the way it started is alarming, I would say, for sure.
The challenging part of it is the front office and KOC did that to him by putting him in that spot. You just had Darnold, who played really well, and then we're going to say, okay, kiddo, come here, JJ. We're going to put you in this situation to where not only us, but the world is expecting you to play at a really high level. And if you don't, we're having these conversations. That's with like Cam Ward and even Williams in Chicago. First couple years with a bad team, nobody cares. We're terrible. We're not expecting to win a lot. We're all going to be learning and growing. People are going to be getting fired. That's kind of part of that rebuilding situation. This ain't a rebuilding team. This team is set and ready to make a run, and then you plug him in there, and he's holding everybody back.
It's almost like how well Darnold did last year, like screwed everything up. Because then it's like, it can be done. Now you're in this position where it's like, do you pay him? Do you let him go? Like, you'd almost wonder if they'd wish he just went out there and like sucked, and then you go 6-11, and now it's like, all right, now JJ has to take over because we spent a first-round pick on him. It's like, now that you've seen what the team's capable of, it just makes it that much more difficult for JJ with the way he struggled to get over it all. Like, it's just a pretty brutal combination of circumstances.
No, that's a really good point.
My last piece on it, it doesn't help also when you can watch in real time Darnold go to a new situation and kill it. Except for the one game against the Rams, he had 3 picks. That's the one game out of the whole season where he's played bad. Other than that, he's in the MVP conversation for most of the season. Makes it even worse.
He couldn't beat the Rams. He couldn't beat the Lions. And I don't. Do the Seahawks play the Lions this year? That'd be interesting to see. But I know with Darnold, we brought him in a year, $10 million. That was a great investment on the front end. You get the 14 wins, you end up being a wild card. And Joe, you really bring out a really good point there. I think that did kind of set the narrative going into this season. I was just like, all right, now what's next for the Vikings? Oh, now you have JJ McCarthy, where you're just going to pick up from where you left off. And sometimes that's not the case. We've seen that with quarterbacks that, once they get the keys to the franchise, there is a learning curve. We got to see that with Caleb Williams last year. And we got to understand that J.J. McCarthy is a year behind his counterparts, and he's going to be going up against Jaden Daniels, who did the most so far in the class. But so far this year, we got Drake May that's probably getting to that point where it's like, all right, maybe MVP talks. But this draft class that J.J. McCarthy is competing with is one of the most talented ones that we've seen in the last, 10-plus years. But let's pump the brakes. I know Dante Culpepper said, hey, this kid's a baller. So that's why I'm not going to sit here and, just take all of the J.J. McCarthy hate and just be like, hey, I think we as Vikings fans, myself, I'm just talking for myself here, I think we need to just pump the brakes here and just realize we haven't done this since Dante Culpepper, for real, though. Like, we've always did, kind of the shortcut. Go get Brett Favre. Go get a Darnold. And we make these playoff runs, and then we think, okay, we went and got Kirk Cousins, I think, for 6 years. And this is after you made it to the NFC Championship game with a Case Keenum. And Case Keenum, I thought it was just hey, we at least needed to see if this guy was going to work but there's always been a disconnect with head coaches and Vikings quarterbacks. I think it's just been a curse of the franchise. News just came out, like Frank Tarkenton was talking about how they didn't even practice before their Super Bowls. So they went 0-4, but the 3 that Frank Tarkenton was in, he said that Bud Grant didn't even have him practice before the biggest game of their lives. Like that, to me, it just was like, I think that was like brain numbing. It's like, all right, you're getting ready for the biggest game of your lives. You're not even going to practice. You're just going to go home and then you're just going to hope that you're going to win the Super Bowl. But again, there could be a lot more into that, but it's not fair to Bud Grant to have this come out after he's passed. But I'll leave it at this. It's just, I feel like there's always been a disconnect with these quarterbacks and their head coach here with the Vikings. But I hope it gets better, especially with J.J. McCarthy. I feel like the kid definitely has something to prove, and I hope he can prove it because we did see it against Detroit. We did see it against Chicago. Again, those were comebacks. But then
one throw, one run, and one throw.
It's a win.
He made a first down throw that sealed the game. Woo! He ran for a touchdown when nobody was by him. Great job, kid.
And
what else has he done?
Against Chicago, he did have in when it mattered the most, he did have a game. He got a touchdown.
He threw the touchdown pass.
Yeah, they took the lead with.
He threw the one clutch touchdown pass.
Okay, threw a touchdown, and I think we got to be fair in regards to like it's not J.J. McCarthy's fault that Ivan Pace is out of lane and it creates a huge kickoff return for the Bears that leads them where they only needed a field goal to win and walk off the Vikings. So I think we need to maybe take a couple steps back here and pump the brakes because as Vikings fans, we're so eager to get back to that next step because I know it's been a lot of pain to see JJ's ineptitude at times of not being able to get the ball to Justin Jefferson. And I'll be honest with myself. I've been frustrated as well, but I know that it's you got to go through those growing pains with quarterbacks. We got to see with Caleb Williams last year. Now with the Bears, went first in the NFC North, first in the NFC as well. But it all comes back to head coach and the quarterback. They got to be on the same page. I'll leave it at that. Jim, I also wanted to get your take on what you're seeing with J.J. McCarthy as well.
He just needs to. I think the Vikings should have traded for a better backup quarterback. Carson Wentz was not the guy. They should have had someone else come in. The second we knew that Wentz was not going to stand up to what we thought it was going to be, they probably should have gone out and gone a better backup to JJ in case he got hurt or played terribly. A good veteran for him to learn behind, to sit behind. Because look at Green Bay. They have 3 Hall of Famers back to back to back, and what do they all do? They all sat behind one another, and by not doing that, they're just throwing JJ to the fire. The coach said our window is closed. I don't think it's fully closed. It's closing quicker than we expect it to be. If JJ could come back at the end of the year, prove that he's growing, prove that he's building something new, prove that he's learning, that window could open up again. But he needs to be better. He needs to make his passes. He needs to be consistent. He needs to understand when to throw the ball, and learn to throw the ball away and not get sacked all the time.
Can I share some interesting stats?
Yeah.
Super quick. Carson Wentz played 5 games. JJ's played 6. Wentz still has almost 400 yards more passing. He has half the interceptions, and completion percentage is higher by 12%.
Okay. But how many things has Wentz been?
So as bad as Wentz was, JJ significantly worse.
Busted shoulder too, right? Not throwing, but still.
All right, I'm done.
The stats are there.
I'm done.
I'm not
done.
arguing stats on that. I'm not arguing stats on that. But
right.
I'll just we'll put this to bed here. I know J.J. McCarthy, we've been long-winded on that. But what we need to see from him is him to be able to survive a game without making that huge here we go again, mistake of like you're overthrowing your receiver. You're not making the right reads. You're not taking what the defense is giving you, because there's going to be plays where you just got to take what the defense is giving you. And we saw that last week with Max Brosmer. He was not taking what the defense was giving him, and we got to see that train wreck. I mean, right now, it's all bad with the Vikings offense. Like, any quarterback that you put out there, it's all bad. But we got to realize, J.J. McCarthy, there's a huge investment, and we got to see this through. That's all I'm saying as Vikings fans. We just got to see this through. And again, we saw Daniel Jones walk out that door. We got to see Sam Darnold walk out that door. Even Nick Mullins walk out that door. So, like, there's been a little bit of just like, all right, what has this quarterback room has, proven this so far? I feel like just let this 5 games play out. Then you make your judgments in the offseason on what needs to be added. But I know for a fact that if J.J. McCarthy is able to make the plays that we're going to be all looking at this in a different lens come 2026. If he's able to make the growth that we need to see him, because, he got drafted when he's 20. He's still young. He's 22 right now. We got to let this mature. We got to let this mature before we call it as, hey, this guy is out. Like, just like Chris Paul was let go of the LA Clippers. I mean, we can't just like give him his walking papers right now.
You can put him on the bench and be a better quarterback. But we said we're done. Let's move on. Let's move on.
Let's move on. All right. Steelers, Ravens, got to have a game. AFC North, both teams sitting at 6-6. Steelers, I don't know. Like, where do they go from here? They just got whooped on by Buffalo and Josh Allen last game. Mm-hmm. Ravens, they got whooped on as well by the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are still alive in this AFC North. It's just wild. It's wacky. But this is got to have a game for both these teams. And I know Tomlin, it's the quest for 9-8, but like Steelers fans are getting upset as well, saying that he should be let go. But if he's let go, I think he's going to be scooped up very quickly. So I don't think the Steelers really know, what they're going to be dealing with once they let go of a Hall of Fame coach in Mike Tomlin. But that's an AFC game that we're going to have eyes on. Also, Bears, Packers, game of the week. For the NFC North and potentially the NFC moving forward. Texans, Chiefs, Eagles, Chargers. We'll do picks for these games, and then we'll wrap up here.
Okay. For Steelers, Ravens, I'm going Steelers because the Ravens don't have an identity. They don't know if they want to be a pass-first, light-it-up team with Lamar, and Lamar is just not, and I hate to say it, he has the highest passer rating in the history of the NFL and all these things. He's not a true natural passer of the football. Every time they try to put the weight of the world on his shoulders and say, throw us to a win, it never happens. And something about the Ravens, they just make mistakes that are just unexplainable. Fumbling the 1 yard line, getting crazy penalties. They just find ways to beat themselves. And Lamar has little to no composure. Watch him during big games, big moments. He's freaking out, throwing his helmet, cussing, yelling, screaming. Just for all those reasons, I like the Steelers. And it's hard for me to say because I like the Ravens, I like their offense, I'm a big Derrick Henry fan, but I'm going Steelers there.
Okay. I'm going. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Well, just the Lamar stuff, I hear you. I'd say I'm probably a little higher on him, I guess, but this year he's not the same player that he even has been in prior years. He's hardly practicing during the week. Seems like he's very banged up, so for that reason, I'll go Steelers too. But I'll throw this in because I don't think we're going to talk about the Bengals later. I'll still pick the Bengals to win that division somehow. Maybe it's at like 8-9. I don't even know how it's going to happen. But I wouldn't pick against Burrow. If you're looking at individual players in that division, the way Lamar's playing right now, Burrow is far and away the best player in that division. So I know they're 2 games back right now, both of the teams we're talking about right now, but I'll still say that they find a way.
Okay.
I'll piggyback on that super quick. I agree because they can score They know who they are. And if you can put up points in that division, because the Steelers can't score and the Ravens lately can't score either. That right there puts you in the catbird seat. And you got Cleveland's great defense, but they have no offense. So with them having the ability to put up points, I agree.
Stay tuned for that AFC North race. I mean, it can go down to last week, right? Jim, real quick, Steelers, Ravens.
I mean, simply, everyone's talked about it already. I got to go Steelers in this one. Lamar does not look like the Lamar from past. He looks like someone who's been getting through it, who's been trying to make sure everything goes good. I got to go Steelers here. Steelers.
Adam Thielen just joined the Steelers. I think he does add some talent to the wide receiver room there for the Steelers. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is he playing in this game, or is it going to be Mason Rudolph?
I think he's back.
Okay, you think he's back? Okay. Yeah, in that case, I got to go Steelers as well. Ravens have shown me zero consistency all season. Would love to see Lamar Jackson be able to prove me wrong here. But yeah, I got to go Steelers. Steelers in a hard-fought game. 24 to 10, because too many mistakes for the Ravens to really make this a ball game. All right, moving forward, we got Bears, Packers, the NFL game of the week. Coach?
Bears. I know it. I don't want to start any problems. It's been a great podcast so far. Don't hurt me. But I think the Bears, because of the offensive firepower and their ability to force turnovers on defense, Jordan Love's been a little turnover prone in big games, big moments, and especially when their running game isn't going great for them. So for those reasons, I'm going Bears.
Nothing personal. I'm a journalist, so not a Packers fan, so not taking it personal at all. Trust me. But I had to pick it on our shows yesterday, so I'll stick with it. I picked Packers 24-17. The Bears forced turnovers, but the best of them, like you said, the Packers, the least giveaways in the league. So I really think it's pretty much going to come down to that. Can the Packers continue taking care of the ball? I'm with you. Jordan Love has had some certainly head-scratching turnovers in big moments. He's avoided it for the most part this year. If he can continue to do that, continue to avoid it for that matter on Sunday, I think the Packers got him. But the crazy thing with the Bears turnovers, you look at it, like some of them are just insane. Like it's not like teams are throwing it right to them. They're going up and getting it. There's the Nashawn Wright one on the sideline against the Steelers. That is one of the best picks I've seen in my life, and that's just one of many that's impressive. So even if Jordan Love does take care of the ball, the Bears have a way of still going up and making those plays that a lot of other teams just can't. So I'll say Packers in a close one, but if there's 2 turnovers in the first half, throw it out the window. It'll be the Bears for sure.
Very nice. Jimmy?
I'm gonna have to go Packers as well, but I think it's because of their defense. I think Michael Parsons is going to have a lot more attempts at Williams. He's going to force Williams to run the ball and not throw it, and he's going to make it feel awkward. I forget. I think it was last week on our one of our shows we were doing. I think it was Cover 2. They mentioned that you got to make him run. You got to make him a runner, not a passer, and make sure he's always running and not able to set his feet and throw. The second they do that, they can pick off Williams. They can have everything go their way. So I'm going to go Packers for that reason, but I'm going to go 21-10.
Okay, 21-10. Okay, 11-point game. Okay. I got to go bear down on this one. I got to go Chicago Bears because they proved to me they are for real. Black Friday against the Eagles at home against the defending Super Bowl champs, they ran them over. Like, it was so bad, Santa Claus left the game early in Philadelphia. Kyle Monangai and DeAndre Swift, the moving company of that offensive line, I think that they will be the keys to victory for Chicago. If they're able to run the ball in cold Lambeau Field and make those those hits on the offensive side and being able to get Caleb to just be a game breaker, because right now that's going to be the matchup I'm going to be watching is Micah versus that offensive line, because they're going to be moving Micah all over that offensive line to disrupt whatever Chicago is going to be trying to do on the offense attack. But Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, you got Luther Burden, The other rookie, Colston Loveland.
Yep.
And then you still got Cole Kmet. So I think the Bears are going to make this an exciting game, and I'm excited for this because this rivalry has been one-sided for so long, with the Packers just owning this rivalry, and I'm glad that it's actually going to be a game that I'm looking forward to this time around. So I got Bears winning this game 27-21. I think it's going to be a big run at the end, 4-minute offense, and the Bears are taking knees to win this game. Okay. We'll wrap up here. Texans, Chiefs, Eagles, Chargers, with those two games to go. Texans, Chiefs.
Texans. Pass rush is insane. Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs' kryptonite is the pass rush. That's it.
Okay. That's simple enough. Joey?
I'm terrified of the Texans as a Patriots fan. Like, that could be, that divisional round matchup potentially and all that sort of stuff. But I just think Chiefs are 6-6 right now. They lose this one, there's probably still a path for them to get into the playoffs. But it feels like a must-win for them. So for that reason, in Kansas City, primetime game, I'll go with the Chiefs, but that's more just based off of what the Chiefs have done in the past than anything I've really seen this year. I just can't picture them falling out of the race to that extent.
I got you. Andy Reid, Big Red, needs a big one. Go ahead, Jimmy.
It's going to be tough. Chiefs have been spiraling, but they are home. It's prime time. It's a must-win game. Give me the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win this one. I think it's going to be a last-second interception that's going to seal the deal for the Chiefs to win.
Okay. I think this is a get-back game for Houston. I feel like Houston, they went on the road. They beat the Colts, where no one gave them a real chance. They were like, all right, it's the Colts here. But Houston has proven with their pass rush with Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, they're able to get to the quarterback, and Derek Stingley Jr., no one's throwing to him. So I think you put him on Rashee Rice, you get him sticky rice on him, and you take away Travis Kelce over the middle. And I think the Texans win this game. With C.J. Stroud, I think this is going to be a coming out party for him. I think with Nico Collins and I think the rookie Jalen Noel out there, he's been consistent. He's been getting over 50 yards. I think. And also with, I think they got Dalton Schultz over the middle. So I think with Woody Marks too, I think this Texans team is definitely scary. You're right, Joey, to be worried about them because they could definitely be, matching up with your New England Patriots in the divisional round there. So D'Amico Ryan's got these boys hitting hard, and I'm excited for this one. It's a primetime tilt. I think Texans get one back from all those memes that we saw with the 24-point comeback. I think this one's going to be a huge game for Houston. The Houston Texans beat the old Texans and the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, final game. Eagles going on the road to SoFi Stadium to play the LA Chargers. Justin Herbert going up against Jalen Hurts. Both those teams in need of a win. They're trailing. I believe the Eagles. Yeah, Eagles still first. I think. The Cowboys lost. That helped things. Yeah.
But the Cowboys on their heels.
They are.
For me in this game, this is the battle of two bad offenses. So I'm going to go with the Eagles. Their pass rush and defense is just significantly better than the Chargers. So I'm going to go with that.
Okay.
And they got this more talent. They got more guys.
Okay. You going with them? Okay.
I'm going with the Eagles.
Eagles. Okay, fair enough. Joey, Eagles, Chargers.
I'll say ugly Eagles win Monday night. No one's going to want to stay up. It's just going to be. I mean, what the Packers Eagles was on Monday night too, wasn't it? That was 10-7. I don't know if we're going to see 10-7 again, but something along those lines. It's just a real gritted out. The Eagles. I don't know. I wouldn't probably pick them to win the Super Bowl, but they do have a certain way of just winning these games, even if things aren't going right for them. So I'll say it's one of those sort of ugly wins for them on Monday night.
For sure.
Yeah, give me the Eagles too. It's going to be a bounce-back game for them. I think this is a prove-it game for themselves that, last week was a fluke. We could be very better than this. we have the Cowboys on our heels, even though they lost. Like it's still there's still a chance. You want to put that to bed with a win. To put that like, hey, they're not going to catch us at all. So I'm giving the Eagles.
Okay. I got to go with Chargers. I'll be the standalone here. Even with Justin Herbert with surgery potentially his non-throwing hand, his left hand. They've had Trey Lance come in and do first reps on the goal line, so we might see that in the red zone. But I think Justin Herbert's gonna have a gutty performance. I think Chargers win this game. Ugly game. Probably I could see it going 16-10, something like that, where it's just gonna be grinded out. You kick field goals and you avoid mistakes. I think that's going to be the recipe for the Chargers here. A lot of Kamani Vidal. That's what I expect. Jim Harbaugh is going to be running the ball like his life depends on it in this game to keep Justin Herbert upright and available for the playoffs. But we have a lot of good football, gentlemen, to watch over the next couple of days. Enjoy this Georgia-Alabama game. That'll be another classic, and this Indiana-Ohio State. I know you guys are going to be watching all games closely. Do you guys have any plans to watch the NFL games, or are you guys just going to be working through it?
I'll be at Lambeau, not to flex, but I'll be in the house for that one, so that'll be exciting for sure.
Enjoy.
Nice and warm in the press box too. Hopefully.
Okay.
Otherwise, I won't be quite as excited.
Very nice. Well, enjoy that one. That will be a fun game. I'll be definitely tuned in for that one.
Mm-hmm.
Jim?
I'll be here working. I'll be here working.
Okay. Well, we do appreciate you guys joining live in the studio. This is definitely a great time to chat. And I don't know if you guys are big basketball fans, but the Timberwolves are on a 4-game winning streak. Watch out for him. And I think Anthony Edwards is kind of piecing things together. He's only going to get better. And I know that once we get to that All-Star break, that's when we're going to really see, I think, the Timberwolves make that jump. But again, they did beat the Celtics, so that gives me hope. That gives me hope that they're able.
Off. Great comeback at the end for Boston.
Yeah, that was a really good comeback. Right, going up against Jaylen Brown, even though Jason Tatum's out of there, Celtics is still world class in regards to the competition that we're seeing for all the teams that the Wolves are playing right now. Mm-hmm. But OKC is still the standard right now, so watch out for OKC. But I know once Christmas and New Year's happens, that's when you get to see a little bit more of the basketball take over. But we do appreciate you guys joining here on the 94 podcast. Until next time, we see you guys at the TOP. We're out.